We've got a state legislator in Florida who's a Republican who's got a theory that Donald Trump is actually a false flag operation. Interesting. Planted. Who is he planted by? The Democrats, of course. Who specifically? We'll get to that in a second. But Representative Carlos Curbelo from Miami says, I spoke to, and he names a popular radio talk show host in Miami there, on Z92 Miami, about absurd comments by Donald Trump, and I offered my theory that he's a phantom candidate. Ooh, that sounds dangerous and interesting. So who was the Phantom Menace sent by? Well, he's got a theory on that. Talking to other talk show hosts and newspapers, he said, quite possibly, Trump is a phantom candidate recruited by the left to create this entire political circus. So I love this theory. Theory is that the Democrats planted Trump to be dumb and racist, thereby attracting the dumb and racist voters of the Republican Party. But if they didn't have dumb and racist voters, wouldn't this plan fail? Okay, now let's finally get to the real culprit at hand. He says in yet another interview on this topic, I think there's a small possibility that this gentleman is a phantom candidate. He can't let it go. Mr. Trump has a close friendship with Bill and Hillary Clinton. They were at his last wedding. He has contributed to the Clintons Foundation, and he has contributed to Mrs. Clinton's Senate campaigns. All of this is very suspicious. That's right. The Clintons thought, why don't we get the most ignorant guy in the country, have him go on the Republican side in his full boastful ignorance. That way, we'll know that he'll win the Republican nomination because those are the jackasses in that party. Okay, now, again, wouldn't this plan be foiled immediately if your party didn't have any racists in it? So you admit, remember, this guy's a Republican and says Trump's a jackass, he's being racist, I can't believe he's saying these things about Latinos and about immigrants, and the Democrats planted him to say it. But if they did, and there was no racist in the Republican Party, well, wouldn't he be in last? But he's not in last. There's a new poll out from USA Today. It's the second poll in a row showing Donald Trump clearly in first place. Very devious plan by the Clintons after all. Could you imagine if they did actually plant that? They're like, how do we get a guy racist enough that Republicans will love him? If they did, you got to give them credit. That was a good plan. There is one way to fix that. Stop being the party of racists.